Perfecto, perfecto. Entonces,
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Gustavo, and the rest of you who came to my presentation today on behalf of Mercy Court Northwest. My name is Osvaldo Guzman. Right now, I'm in the Vancouver area, but I worked for Mercy Corps Northwest. I've been doing business trainings. We give grants. Today, we're just going to talk about grants or scholarships. It's a grant program in which businesses which are seeking financial assistance or a fund to use to invest in their businesses. That's one of the
finalmente,
programs that we have available. And we also have a loan program. What the topic that we're going to focus on today is the grant program that's called IDA. Again, my name is Osvaldo Guzman. I'm a community navigator with Mercy Corps Northwest. I am the person who helps clients, customers, and the organization. So if you're looking for more information, or if you'd like to apply to the grant programs or the IDA grant program with Mercy Corps Northwest, it's likely that we are going to be working together. Again, thank you so much to Gustavo, and I will get going on my presentation. Well, welcome, Osvaldo. Really quick, just a little introduction. You've pretty much said it all, but um, my name is Gordillo with Impact Beaverton,
de
and the
Business Recovery Center. Bienvenidos a todos y gracias por acompañarnos hoy a este
thank you for
seminario
being
web.
here today. This webinar is part of an informational session that we do every week in which businesses learn from professionals who are specialized in advising and strategy to advise your
Hoy
business.
nos sentimos honrados,
Today, we are honored with
Osvaldo, que ya
our presenter Osvaldo, who already did his own introduction. And
para
at the
emprender un negocio
at the end of the day, to start a business or to grow your business,
es muy importante
it's
tener
really important to have the correct resources. And with these types of programs, they can help you to save quite a bit. The presentation will be recorded and later it will be available through our Impact Beaverton YouTube channel as a resource for small businesses. We will also have the audio available in English through our talented interpreter, Jessica Doper, who is with us today. Thank you, Jessica. So after the presentation, we will have a question and answer session. We won't record that so that everybody feels comfortable asking any questions they may have. As the presentation goes on, put your questions in the chat box, and we will do everything possible to address every one of them. So, Osvaldo, again, thank you so much for your time, and we are ready to start your presentation. Thank you.
muchas gracias.
Thank you so
Entonces,
much. So,
empezaremos.
let's get started.
Una de las cosas que Gustavo
One of
dijo
the things that Gustavo said, and I think it's something really important, is how um,
de esta subvención
how we think about this
es
grant.
que la subvención es un
A
recurso
grant is a resource, right?
si no
And
sabemos de los recursos que
if we don't know what resources we have, they don't exist. So today, I hope that you can get to know this program a little bit more about this CIDA grant program, and that could maybe motivate you to apply to the program um, um, and to get together what it requires. The program is a matched grant from the person who is participating. If they save $1,200, afterwards you'll have $6,000 equivalent dollars from us, Mercy Corps Northwest. So it's a total of $7,000. That's six $6,000 is the scholarship or rather the grant. The next round will be for you. So when you get done with it, you'll get $7,200 for your business. The purpose of this grant program is to support families and individuals with financial resources, and these are limited to build goods or to get valuable trainings or to start or to grow your business or to some of our frequently asked questions are, if I don't have a business, can I still apply for the grant? Yes. Even although, even though you might be in the idea phase or maybe you haven't built your business yet, it's still possible to apply to the program. We just have three requirements for the program. The first one is that you live that you live in the areas that you have limited resources or low income, and third, you have to go to a business class. That you have to take that before you participate in the program. As you go into the program, that's where they give you the 5-to-1 share matched program. For every dollar that the person saves, we give $5. So in this case, if you save $1,200, you can get up to $6,000. You get $6,000 from the grant. For this grant that we're talking about, $1,200 in savings, getting $6,000 on top of that, that's for the Oregon IDA program. Each state right now has different rules, different amounts, whatever they may be. For Oregon, this is the program that we have available. And the program lasts at least 6 months up to 2 years. So what that means is that you will not have access to the fund until at least 6 months after opening it. But if you have not complied with the requirement to save $1,200, you still have up to 2 years to meet that requirement. So there is a flexibility element built into the program. And this is determined by your budget as well. So the uses for the fund, it depends on you. It depends on the business because the use is going to be different for everybody. So for example, I have a business that's focused on food. It might be good to use it or to invest it in machinery, equipment, or things that could help my business in that industry. So there are also some flexibility when it comes to how you use the funds. The only thing that you can't use IDA funds for, you can't use them to pay off existing debts or work capital. Is like utilities or employees or recurring bills. You can't use it for that. The objective is that you invest the funds in long-term business assets that will increase your capacity or help your business perform more efficiently and effectively. So who is eligible? The applicants must meet all of the following requirements to be eligible for the Oregon IDA program. Because today we're talking about the Oregon grant. You have to be a resident of Oregon, or if you still have not built your business, you must, so if you're in the process of building it, it must be in Oregon. And if you already have a business in Oregon, it must be located in Oregon as well at the same time, okay? You must have met at least one of the requirements, business education requirements that we had in the last 24 months. Like I said, it's a business class that you can use for this prerequisite. Mercy Corps Northwest, at the beginning of the presentation, I explained that we have different services that we offer. So this is one of the services, this grant program. We have a training program in which we also give educational classes in which you can get connected. So if you, so we have one that's called Business 101. If you take that class, you can use that same class as a prerequisite for this program. So we already have two right there. The first is that you have to be a resident of Oregon and you have to have your business located in Oregon. And the other requirement is that you must have completed the prerequisite of the business education class within the last 24 months. And in a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit more about the income requirement, but step by step, right? Okay. The next part, you have to have a source of income to make a monthly savings departments of at least $50. The reason for this is because to save up to $1,200, you need a way, you need an income source to be able to do that, right? You're going to have less than $20,000 in home equity, but that doesn't include your first home or your first vehicle. And up to or up to $120,000 in your savings and your retirement savings account. So your first $120,000 in your retirement account, you have to have less than that. Or you can have that $120,000 up to your savings account. That's not included in that $20,000 home equity requirement. But either way, if you think or if you're thinking that, oh, I don't know if I meet those requirements, or maybe I'm above that, $20,000 in my home equity, you can get in touch with us. We can talk with us, and we have consults about this, and we can go over all the requirements to see if you in fact qualify, or if or if not, we can see if maybe there's some other options or resources for you. And finally, you need to have family income beneath the threshold or have been a benefit in the last 12 months of one of the following public benefits: LEAP, low income, fiscal credit properties, public housing, Section 8, SNAP, TANF, or WIC. So if somebody qualifies and has been a beneficiary of one of these programs that I have down here, they will be eligible for the program in this category. So about the education requirements, the prerequisite for education, you can take the class through Mercy Corps Northwest. You can use it for your IDA program. It could be one of these three. There's three classes. There's Business 101 for Mercy Corps, rebuilding your cornerstone, and the business plan workshop through Mercy Corps. So if you're taking one of these classes, that you would have completed the prerequisite for the program. So if you've taken a class outside of these, what you can do is you can send us the certificates from the class that you took that is focused on business and on small businesses. You can show us the certificate, the class number, and show that it meets the requirements, that the class is focused on small businesses, and you and in about has to be about 18 hours that you will have completed, and you can use that class as a prerequisite for the program. Okay. And if you still have not completed that business education requirement, or you completed it more than 24 months ago, unfortunately, you would not qualify for the IDA program at this moment. This education component is really, really important, and it is perhaps one of the things that I believe sometimes people are missing, right? Like they'll have all of the other prerequisites met, they have their business, and they have momentum, they have movement in their business, but they're just missing that class. And as soon as they take that class, you can apply. And how to apply? How are we going to apply? The first thing is get all the required documentation together. Fill out the application and put in all the required documentation. Right now, we have all those resources, those documents available in English and Spanish and Arabic. And also, something that's really important about applying is that so we've started this year's grant cycle, and we'll do that 3 times. So the first one was in the last week of January. The next grant that's going to open will be in May. And the last one will be close to the end of the year. Okay. So if you have any questions about the dates or more calls or anything you want to ask, you can talk with Gustavo as well. You can talk with us, you can talk with Gustavo, and we can share that information for you, okay? So here I still have information about the last grant, but as an example, the last grant opened on Friday the 28th at 9 in the morning. It went till Saturday, January 29th at 5 p.m. So it's really, really good to have a lot of preparation. Be really prepared before you apply to the program, because the application is only open for a period of 1 to 2 days. Last time it was for 2 days, and typically like at the end of it's like a weekend. It's like Friday, Saturday. That's how it was with the last round. So the grant, you can apply for the grant online. There's all the material. You can fill out the application online. You can confirm everything. You can send all the documentation, and you can do that all online. And if maybe you don't have a computer or you don't have access to the internet, we also have an option available to send applications in through mail, postal mail. So if you need help, or if you're need more information, you can get in touch with us, and we can send you, you can send an email to this address right here, which is ida.mercycorps Northwest, mcnw@mercycorps.org. That's a good email address to use to ask questions or for anything, really. And if not, I will share my contact information with Gustavo, and we can talk that way. So finally, we have a set capacity, a set number of how many applications we can get in each cycle. This last grant cycle, there were 50 applicants, and and with 15 that we got through paper applications. So that's the limit. So the recommendation is that if you can apply, the soonest you can apply, the better. Okay, next. So what to expect from the application? This is a general description of what we will ask you to share in your application. Your current employment and work information, if you work for yourself, about your business. For example, are going to have your taxes, and if you have not registered your business yet, that's fine. We can work with profit and loss statement, in which you can share that information with us. We need your household income information, your public benefits, your gross monthly income for all the members of the house who are older than 18, the equity in your house, the net value of your house. We need a brief business plan and a narrative about your personal declaration, personal statements. We need the proposed use of the funds for IDA, and you can say like, okay, I want to say, you can tell us like, okay, I want to save for 6 months and I'm going to get my grant after that, or I'm going to do the whole 2 years and after 2 years I'm going to get my grant, right? And finally, we're also going to need your personal demographic information. So that's all the basic stuff. And after this presentation, I'm going to talk a little bit more to let you know more about what to expect from the application. But we're going to talk a little about the required documentation. There are two options. The first option is on the screen, which is this option applies to beneficiaries of public assistance. So if you have gotten late aid such as LEAP, public housing, Section 8, SNAP, TANF, low income tax credit, or WIC, you can have gotten any of those programs. Maybe there's another program that you've applied for or gotten, you can put that on there too. So if you're going to apply with this option, these are the requirements. We need a copy of your organ identification, the copy of your public assistance certification. We need your tax statements for your business or Schedule C from last year. And if you have not done your tax statement, filed your taxes yet, maybe you can do a profit and loss statement for the business. You can give us that. And finally, we need that certificate of having completed the class or a letter from the instructor. This is talking about that prerequisite of taking your business class. All right? And you can optionally include any explanation about any special circumstances that we should consider. It depends on each person. It was basically whatever you'd like for us to consider, right? And option 2 are for people who have not gotten a public assistance. So if you've not gotten public assistance, you will have to also include a copy of your organ ID, 1 month of your most recent bank statements, proof of eligibility by income from the last 2 months, and maybe, for example, if you don't get your checks, like with your pay stubs, or if you're working under the table, that's okay. You can just give us a letter from your employer that says the name of the person, the hours that you've worked, and how much the rate of pay, right? So if that's the case. If that's not the case, give us your pay stub from your work, that's fine. A copy of your unemployment if you got income from unemployment insurance last 2 months. And here is where this brief presentation ends. This is my email address, which is oguzman@mercycorps.org. Here we have a link if you're interested. It's a way in which we can, when you complete this form that's saying that you're interested, Mercy Corps Northwest will send you a message before the next round of grants opens, but it's say, good afternoon, tomorrow the Mercy Corps Northwest grants open, and these are the requirements, et cetera, et cetera. So this interest forum is a really, really good starting point. That's where you can start to say, okay, I'm going to sign up to get more information, and then we'll let you know when the next grant cycle opens, and that way you can navigate our different requirements for the grant. Thank you so much, and if you have any questions, now is the time. Let's see if we can answer them. Thank you, Osvaldo. Very interesting. Okay, let me go read the questions that have been put in the chat. The first one was from Leticia. So, resident of Oregon, does that mean having a state of Oregon identification? Give me more details about being a resident. Very, very, very good question. Being a resident means that you live in Oregon. You don't have to have a social security number, nothing like that. You just have to prove where you live. For example, it could be a utility bill in which you pay for your electricity or your water, where it says where you have the house address, what the house address is. It could be a letter from your rent, like a rent contract, a rental contract that has the home address on it, which proves that it's located in Oregon. Very good question. Christina, I don't understand your comment. An audio or insurance or safe, seguro? I'm not sure. Yeah, I was wondering if if you have to have insurance here in the state, or if it's in the state. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that very well. What was the question? Sorry. Are you talking about the same thing that I am? Oh, okay. About your identification. Okay. A lot of people with an ITIN, and then some people have a social security number. So being a resident, that's what we're asking about. Oh, okay. And in fact, that's one of my questions, Osvaldo, that you were talking about at the beginning. Is there a limit for not having, for example, a social security number, or can you just have an ITIN, or does it matter if it's at the same? That's if 6 to 1, you could say. It's a very good question, and it does not matter your status. It doesn't matter. It's the same for everyone. If you don't have a social security number, you can use your ITIN. The only requirements that we have are those 3 that I told you about. be a resident of Oregon, which means that you live in Oregon. For example, if you have a rental contract that says this address is in Oregon, or it has your home address, or your department's in Oregon, perfect. Or, utility bills, something like that. One question. Christina was also asking if, like, for example, if you don't have an ID, can you show your voter registration or your passport or an invoice or a utility bill? A bill would be really good. If you don't have your ID and you live in Oregon, have an address in Oregon, you can bring a rental contract or a utility bill. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, there's another question also from Leticia. If you qualify for Medi-Cal or Medicaid, like if you qualify for school lunch for our kids, is that also considered getting public assistance? To qualify as a low income, I mean, if you were saying WIC or for food stamps, but sometimes there are people who don't get those programs, but maybe you get some low income program for school lunch, for example, or Medicaid or Medi-Cal. Maybe that could that be supported? Very good question. As far as Medicaid and about your kids, I don't know if that qualifies as public assistance. But what we could do is I could research that a little bit more and get some more details. If that follows more under your income or your assistance. As far as public assistance, just the programs that I mentioned count. And as I said, you don't have to provide proof of, for example, if your kids in public assistance or Medicaid. What you would need to show is that you get any of those services that I showed on the prior screen. Thank you, Osvaldo. Emma Clark is asking, so do the Impact Beaverton classes count as an option for the IDA requirement? Impact Beaverton, that's us. Impact Beaverton, that's us. We have classes about business plan, for example. You could take one of our workshops, and that could be considered could that be considered as complying with the prerequisite? If it's a small business plan, I mean, that would be something that we would accept. Yeah. You would just need a certificate then? Yeah. That's the only thing. We'd have to see a certificate, and if it's not a certificate that they give you, it could be a letter written by the instructor proving that the person has taken the class at that organization, or they've taken this many hours about this. It's taken this many hours, and that it was about this. So that's a really, really good question. So if it's a business class put out by this organization, Gustavo's organization, that would be enough. Okay. Citlali is asking, do you accept childcare businesses? Accepted to the program, like to apply to the program? Yeah, imagine that's what she's asking. Yeah, people, by law in Oregon, it says that you have to be over 18 years of age to apply for the program, for the IDA program. So Leticia's asking, if I apply, how do I know that I'm in the process of being accepted? Typically, the Mercy Corps staff, we send communications to the participants. So for example, when you apply, you'll send in your application, you'll get an answer back saying, perfect, your application was successfully received. And after some 2-3 weeks from that time is when we send more information out saying, okay, you've been selected to be in the program, etc. Or you could also receive something that says, unfortunately, we were not able to move forward, but we encourage you to apply during the next round, for example. But yeah, we have different phases of communication. The first one is the one I said, and the second is that one. Silali said, so if you're about ready to open a business and you don't have all the requirements, like the proof of the documents, like how would it work? So imagine so when you want to open a business, obviously you can't show your taxes or things like that. So how would you apply? Right, really good question. You don't have your business already started to apply for the program. You can still be in that conceptual phase or that idea phase and oh, maybe I'd like to do this business or I'd like to have a business doing this. From there, you can still apply for the program. You don't have to have a fully formed business yet. The difference would be is if you don't have a business yet already in operation, you would have to prove some other way. You have to prove your income other ways. It'd be your personal income, and you can't prove your business income because you don't have one yet. So you can have your Schedule C. You won't have that yet. You won't have your profit and loss statement yet. But you will have to prove the rest of it in other ways. So. But you could probably include your business plan, right? Your prediction, uh, your projections, your what you see for your business, right? That's better. If you are, yeah, you can send in your idea about what you want to do, and how are you going to invest? Because we have parts of the application, and right now I can show you the application really quickly, in which where there's a narrative about what do you want to do and how much experience do you have in the business and how will the grant help you with your business. And at the end, there's a list of purchases, about how you can explain how you're going to use the grant. Right, perfect. I just thought of a question. So once they finish saving and they give me the money, does Mercy Corp ask for a justification about the money and how it was used, or will they say, if people say I'm going to buy a car to grow my business, will they ask you to as for justification or proof or something to prove that you use the money for that? We did before, but right now we don't have that justification. We just have different ways in which we are in communication about the business. But if you want to use your grant for a group for a car as part of your business, if it's an investment in your business, that's fine. That's possible. But for example, providing a receipt or a statement that you bought these things, we don't ask for that. So I have another question. This is from Leticia. If you're about to start another IDA with another organization, do you have any problem if we apply with you? Is it, or is it one or the other?
Muy buena pregunta.
Very good question.
Por la ley de Oregon,
According to Oregon law,
solamente cada individuo
each individual can only have
una idea
one IDA at a time,
no más
and that's
regla de Mercy Course,
not Mercy Corps' rule.
la regla
That's
del estado.
the state's rule.
Ok, perfecto.
Okay,
Una vez
perfect.
terminado, me imagino, puede
Once you finish with one, I imagine you can apply for another one?
Sí, exacto.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Sí.
Perfect.
La ley no dice que
The law doesn't
uno
say that once you finish one or get one, you can apply for another one. No, you can have an IADA with Mercy Corps. Once you're done with that, you can apply to another organization.
yo creo que es
I
un
think that's practical, and I think it's a very good idea for your business. Perfect.
Citlali también pregunta,
Silali also has a question.
¿cuál sería el tiempo más seguro
What would
para iniciar el
be
proceso?
the safest time or the best time to start the process?
Hoy la fecha
I imagine with the IDA program, you're saying that it's going to be in May.
fijar las fechas.
I didn't write down the dates, but
Ahí aplicaría
there you can apply,
de interés.
like you can fill out that interest form, that expression of interest
La
form.
recomendación
Yeah,
es
the
que
recommendation is that
un punto muy bueno en donde
uh,
empezar
a really good
es
starting
tomar
point
la clase de
is
business
taking
porque
that business class
prácticamente
because it
la mayoría de las veces ese
so
es el
most of the time
la
that's the
mayoría de las veces
prerequisite that people are
es
missing most of the time.
es posible que
It's
cada uno de
possible that
ustedes haya tomado la clase
each and every one of you have already taken that class, and that's fine.
expresión de interés
And you can
será
fill out that
bien
interest form, and
y
that's
con eso
fine.
estamos ya listos.
And you can say that, yeah, we're ready to go.
Otra parte de esto es
Another part of
si
that
llegamos
is that
a comenzar una
so when we're getting closer to filling out the
siempre
application,
hacemos
we
una sesión de
always
información
do an information session like this one
para recordar de todo
to
lo
remind you
que
about all the different
requisitos,
documents that you're going to need, all the
cosas que
different
requerimos
things that we require
con la aplicación
to send in
y
an
lo explicamos
application.
mucho más en
And
detalle,
we go much more into detail,
pero sí es una
but
muy
that's a
buena
really good
punto de empezar.
uh,
La expresión de interés
starting
y la
point.
educación.
But the education is the good place to start.
Perfecto.
Perfect. Let's see, I got lost.
Bueno,
Okay,
es relacionada a lo que comentó.
so that's related to what he was just saying.
Sandra y
Sandra and Miguel says approximately what is the range of annual income that people need to be able to apply?
Lo tengo más o menos
Um,
pero
I have it kind of more or less in my head, but for one person, it's approximately 54,000, and for each additional person, that it goes up. But let me
buscar la información.
uh, look up this information.
Si nomás me dan un segundo.
Let me just give me 1 second. Go ahead, no problem. So find this information on our website. Okay, perfect. For one person, it's 54,000. $54,150. For two people, $61,900. For three people, $69,660. For four people, $77,300 or $50, and it just keeps going up, right? So I have a flyer that I can share with Gustavo that has all that information. And I can also share that with you as well individually.
Aquí la tengo, si quieres lo voy a poner rápido.
Yeah, if you'd like, I can put it on there too. Let me see.
Ah, muchísimas
Ah, there we go. Thank you very much. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
No sé si estoy. Ok, perfecto.
All right,
Entonces,
perfect.
esos son los límites de
So
ingresos.
those are the income limits.
Depende en cuánta gente
So it
vive.
depends on how many people are in your household.
So, por ejemplo,
So for
una
example,
pregunta que
a question that
agarramos frecuentemente es, pues,
we
¿cuántas
get
personas
often is that
forman
how
parte del hogar?
who qualifies as part of your household.
Si la persona
So if the
tiene
person
la unidad en el
uh,
hogar, si ves
if they live in the home,
ese
if
hogar,
they
ese hogar como
are
domicilio
using that home as their main
entonces esa persona
residence,
queda
that person is then
parte del
considered as a household member.
Pero, por ejemplo, hay
But for
días que
example, there are
rentan y
times when people
comparten
rent and they share the household expenses, for example,
entonces ellos
50-50,
consideran parte del hogar.
so they wouldn't be
Pero
considered part of the
con
household.
todo
But
eso,
if you have any
nosotros
questions, you
podemos
can get in touch with us with your questions and we can
y
help
ahí vamos.
and go from there.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very
Tengo
much.
una duda,
I have a
Osvaldo.
question,
Aquí
Osvaldo.
dice que es
Here it
para
says
la zona,
that
condado de
this is
Multnomah.
for Multnomah
¿Eso
County.
sería
Does it
un poco
change
para el condado de
for
Washington?
Washington County?
Que el
Or is
mínimo
that the same amount
límite de ingreso.
for your income limit?
Muy,
It changes just a
por condado.
teensy bit
Cambia muy
per
poco.
county, just a little teensy bit. Okay.
Este aquí enumerado es el ejemplo de Multnomah.
This is the Multnomah example. Okay.
Bueno,
Very good.
déjame ver
Let me see
si hay más preguntas.
if there are any more questions.
El negocio necesita estar en el
So
registro en el estado. Dijimos que
does the
sí.
business need to be registered in the state? I would say yes.
Ah, puedo.
Adelante.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, please.
El negocio
The
al
business,
tiempo de la aplicación
when you
no
apply,
tiene que tener
you
registrado,
don't have to have it registered,
pero
but
al momento cuando van a recibir la
when
subvención,
by the time you
van a
get your
tener que estar
grant, you will
registrados
have to have had it be
para
registered.
recibir. Si no está registrado ahorita,
So maybe if it's not
no
registered
cuenta como
now, you can still apply.
si
But
aceptado
if
al programa,
you are accepted to the
Ah, porque se
program,
registra.
you'll have to register it. Yeah, you'll have to register it.
Ahí
Exactly.
aplicaría mucho para todos los
Um,
emprendedores, ¿no?
that would apply to
Actualmente
all the
cualquier
different entrepreneurs, right? If you have a business, once you finish with your grant or with your program, you'll get the money,
dan de alta primero
um,
la licencia y
or you will have had to register, get your license, and have your business opener to get your money. Yeah. From Lupita, she says,
proporciona apoyos IDA para
does
negocios.
Mercer Corps only give IDAs for businesses, or can you also apply for university savings programs?
muy, muy buena pregunta.
Very, very, very good question. Right now, we just have IDAs for businesses.
Sí existen IDAs
There are
educativos,
educational
pero
IDAs,
son muy
but
pocos y
they're very
muchos
few and far between.
eh,
And right now,
sí, hay muy pocos
they're very
y muchas
few,
organizaciones
and there are
están
not too many organizations
corriendo
that are doing them. Right? Exactly,
So, al
exactly.
momento Mercy Corps
So
Northwest
right now, Mercy Corps
el
Northwest,
programa de subvención
we just have the
para
grant
businesses.
program for businesses. Okay, perfect.
Leticia
Leticia raised her
levantó la mano.
hand. You want to ask your question?
Sí, tengo un poco de varias preguntas.
Yeah, I have
Los
several
activos
questions.
intangibles se
The business
reportan
assets, are you
con
talking about?
lo que
No.
voy a ganar con ustedes
So what I'm going to
se
gain from
reporta
you, you're talking about everything I'm going to invest to build my business, right?
Ok, yo quiero
Okay, so
hacer crecer mi negocio. Yo
I'd
vivo en
like
un
to grow my
apartamento,
business. I'm in an
estoy
apartment.
con
So my
poca
business,
capacidad,
I
ya lo
I have the ability, but I want to grow. So does that mean I want to buy a house? So does this IDA, can it be used for that type of investment? So when you give me the IDA, it's been 6 months, and I choose 6 months, and I go, wow, I don't, um, um, I'm not getting my investment because something came up, right? How much delay do I have to be able to be able to get the money? And do you have a, a bank or a credit union that you prefer to
Sí,
save the
sí, sí.
money?
So,
Yeah,
tenemos
okay.
un banco
So we have a
que
bank
trabajamos juntos,
that we work with. We
ellos
work
ya
together,
conocen
and
nuestros
they
procesos,
already are familiar with our processes. For example, how we
cómo
operate the
funciona
IDA program and
nuestro método
how
de ahorrar
we,
dinero y
work
cómo
with
funciona.
saving the money, etc. So if you're
Acceso
accepted to the program, you'll have
a la
to open an account at that bank. The other part of your question,
explicar un poco más
if you could explain a little bit more about your business to me. So is your business,
me
um,
dijo algo de un departamento que donde
it's a childcare business.
ok.
Okay. So it depends. There are three categories. Um, uh, I can only take care of them for the day because I'm in an apartment. But once I get, but when I get a house, I can care for up to 16 and another shift, as long as they don't overlap. So I can take care of another 16 and another shift. So I was thinking, so if I have an IDA, can my husband apply for an afternoon shift, for example, for another one? That's my question. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try to divide those questions up a little bit.
Pero de su esposo,
So as far as your husband,
su esposo
yeah,
sí
your
puede
husband
aplicar
can
para IDA
apply
también.
for an IDA
La
as well.
ley dice que
The law
solamente
says that
dos
only
personas por
2
persona
people
pueden tener un
per
IDA.
household can have an
Una
IDA
persona
account.
puede
So
tener dos IDAs,
one person can have
pero
2
dos
IDAs,
personas
but
pueden
2
tener
people
un IDA.
can have 1 IDA
Exacto,
each. Okay, there you go.
exacto. Entonces usted y su esposo,
So
los dos
if
pueden
you
aplicar
and your
a
husband, you
la
can both apply for an
IDA.
IDA,
Y el proceso será
and
igual
the
para los dos.
process will be the same for
Solo
both of you.
requieren
Both of you will
nada
have to
más
have
llenar
your
una clase y los
education
tendrán
class
que
prerequisite.
enviarnos el estudio
Will
y
have to
los
fill
dos
out the
vamos a hacer el
application. Both of you will
proceso.
have to go through the whole process.
Y
And
de la primera parte de la
the
pregunta de
first
cómo
part of the
hacer
question about how to invest,
la asignación,
the
hay muy
grant,
pocas restricciones
there are
en
very few
cómo
restrictions about how
investir.
to invest the
Algunos sí,
grant.
a los cuales yo acabo de mencionar,
Some of them I listed before. There are a few limitations. For example,
para
you
empleados,
can't use it to pay expenses or pay employees or pay rent.
la renta de un espacio de negocio,
Renting a business space, for example, you
pagar
won't
la renta
can't pay the
mensual
rent with it because those are recurring payments, and we want you to use your grants for a long-term ability, right? A long-term capability. Hmm.
Ok.
Okay.
Referente a los bancos,
Talking about banks, Emma Clark made a comment that if you um, could be, if you want to use a credit union, you could, like On Point, or can it be any bank that you choose?
So, hay dos partes de los bancos
There are
mexicanos.
2 parts of banks
Hay
here. There
un
are
banco donde
the
usted va a
bank
depositar dinero
in which you're going to
y
save up the
ese
money.
banco
That
va a ser
bank
elegido por México
is going to be
Norte,
chosen by
para
Mercy Corps
pagar los 1,200.
Northwest. That's where you're going to save your $1,200.
En donde van a
So now,
recibir
where you're going to get
la subvención será en la
your
cuenta
grants
del negocio
will be in the
y esa
business bank
será
account,
la
and that will
liquidez
be
que
wherever you
usted
want,
cuenta que
right?
ustedes elijan
That'll be the
es
account that
donde
you
va a ir
choose,
su
and
fondo
that's where you're going to get
y
the fund.
cumpliendo con el programa
And
cerrará la cuenta de ahorros
once you complete the program, you can close that savings account with that bank, and you can just put it all in the other one. That's clear. So for me to make the monthly payments from my savings, that's from a bank account, obviously, like to Mercy Corps. And when you finish with your savings, the account where they're going to deposit the money is the account that your business has, right? Correct. Okay. Our time is running out, but the last question from Sandy. Oh, yes, it does apply to buying a house for the grant. You could use it for your closing costs. So can you use your savings to pay closing costs when you buy a house?
Es posible,
It's
pero
possible.
tendremos que
It's possible that we'll have to look that over to verify that, but
es posible porque,
it's possible
como dije,
because, like I said,
los usos de los fondos,
there's flexibility in how you use these funds. There's really few restrictions,
que ver
but we'll just have to see, certain
cómo
types of proof,
adelante con el negocio a
you know,
largo plazo,
how you're going to help your business long term. But yeah, it's possible. Perfect. We have time for one more quick little question, or if not, that's time. Perfect.
En todo este proceso, ¿tiene algún costo todo este
Does the whole process have a
proceso?
cost? Because there's training, so there's consulting,
su dedicación,
your dedication,
tiempo.
and your time.
Muy buena
Very good.
conferencia y muy buena
Very good session and very good points,
preguntas que tenemos.
and also the
Como dice,
questions that we have. Like you said, it's a lot of
y
flexibility
con la experiencia
and few limitations. And with the experience of Emma and Gustavo, who are here,
óptimas para
you're recommending us some really good people who to get some resources that we as people and businesses often ignore that could help us grow. But there's some limitations, but with this consulting that you're giving us, we can improve, we can start our businesses. So thank you. Yeah, thanks, Leticia.
Tal vez necesitan
So yeah, maybe if you need more help
cualquier cosa,
with anything,
envíanos un email y
just send us an email, and that's it.
estamos seguros que
We can see it's possibly that we know some other people who could help you. Yeah, that's the thing with this type of program, that it's a lot of referrals that go through different organizations, and that can all help you grow your business. So the last question, I think that Stella is asking a really good question. So the amount that you're saving is $1,200, but if I want to save, more, 2,000, for example, is that possible, or is it topped out at a certain amount?
muy buena pregunta.
Very good question. Yes, it is topped out at a certain amount. You can save more than the $1,200, but the match will just be for the $1,200. Okay, well, we'll close for today. Osvaldo, I thank you so much. Thank you again for your extraordinary presentation. We loved it. All of the advice has been really helpful, and later on we're going to continue with our next session next Tuesday. Please follow us on our social media at Impact Beaverton. It's really important for you to follow us so they can blah, blah, blah. So we can let you know about our activities and our classes and services. As you know, it's all free. And thank you so much. Have an excellent week. And We'll see you next Tuesday. And if you need anything or if you want to come visit me, remember that we're here and in the Chamber of Commerce in Beaverton from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I hope you're all well. Have a great week. Thank you, Osvaldo. Again, thank you. Gracias.
Hasta luego.